Lance, does this ever strike you as slightly ridiculous, Lance?
Écarte-moi les. Écartez-vous. Donne-moi la main, David.
It makes me miss that beach I was on for 4 years a little bit. Yeah.
Hello, it's stage 5 of the Tour de France. Slightly ridiculous, strangely addictive, and about to take on a touch of the surreal today. That's if the sight of Ben Stiller on the podium yesterday wasn't surreal enough for you. Well, today's stage isn't going to be decisive for Astana, but it should be interesting. 196.5 kilometres from Le Cap d'Agde to Perpignan, and it's going to be another extremely windy day. A couple of fourth category climbs, but they're really not going to be the chief difficulty. It's the long, exposed stretch of road that takes the riders past Perpignan before the race doubles back towards the finish that's going to string the peloton out, and could well see it split again like it did 2 days ago.
5 kilometres to go, 58 seconds. Watch how that time drops between 5 and 4, and they've gone up to a minute. They're actually starting to pull away. I do believe it's curtains for the sprinters.
Well, Thomas Voeckler there is waiting for the time to try and pop a move off the front end of this group. Watch out for Hutovic there, because he has got a great sprint. I think Ignatieff, Phil, is not feeling very confident. Look at the move there by Voeckler in the blue shorts.
It's a tester. I said he would go about 2 kilometres out. He's proved me wrong. This is the first attack by Thomas Voeckler. They're looking at each other. Timmer looks back. Ignatieff is tired from his tacks. Hutovic is just following wheels. This is a great crafty move by Thomas Voeckler. He's a great tactician. He may have worn the yellow jersey in the Tour de France. He's never won a stage.
Well, he's trying to get that stage victory here this afternoon. He knows exactly how fast the main field can go on the run in towards the finish, and I think he's broken the back of this three-man chase group, but he's got to keep going to hold off the front end of the main field, who I think you're right, Phil, may well have completely and utterly messed up their timing this afternoon.
Thomas Voeckler, who is the shortest tactician, he's ridden 7 Tours de France rather, and he's worn the yellow jersey.
He will find a little bit of extra energy in those legs of his this afternoon, because he will now be starting to dream about a stage victory in the Tour de France. Every time he slows down, he gets out of the saddle to battle with his machine to keep those pedals going over in the biggest gear that he's got. Another move coming at the back again. It looks like it's Ignatieff trying to come across the gap.
And that looks like Anthony Jeslan trying to bridge across to him there at the moment. Well,
oh, this is Timmer.
It's Timmer. It's a skill ride. Yes, it's Timmer. There's Timmer. Can't get his name right after all this time. Albert Timmer trying to get across to the leaders here.
This man now has made his move. He has to give everything he's got, looking over his shoulder, trying to judge whether or not anybody's coming back. When you're in a situation like this, the body is screaming out for a little bit of respite, but you know you've got to push it that little bit further forward. Not a good sign, not good for the morale, Phil, when you see them pulling their cars out of the gap there, because it makes you wonder, am I going to survive? Have I got enough advantage? And Albert Timmer here is looking straight up the road at the back wheel of Thomas Voeckler.
2 kilometres to go. He's got to have done this, but it's not a question of whether he wins or the guy coming up behind. The peloton can't possibly get back now. This has been a show of defiance today, and when they get there, 184 kilometres in front. There are easier ways to win stages of the Tour de France.
Well, he's still got to battle, because Timmer has got the advantage of looking at Thomas Voeckler a little bit further up the road, and he's judging his effort of trying to pull himself back to the Frenchman's wheel before the finish. He's only about 5 or 6 seconds behind him, and Voeckler knows that. He looks around every now and again, and he's trying to find out whether he's got enough energy to hold off the return of the Dutchman.
Well, dare I remind you that Voeckler is French. They don't win many stages of the Tour de France. Really, you shouldn't be looking round, Thomas. You're the bike race right now as he continues to drive on down the barriers here in Perpignan. We're going to see the magic red kite in the sky. That will give him the fillip he wants, I think, to head for home.
And that's where he's looking for. You can just see that red banner across the road there. Once he goes underneath that banner, that was the indication he's got 1,000 metres left to go to the finish. He's not completely confident about this, because he keeps looking over his shoulder. He's wondering whether he's got the strength to survive here. And for the skilled rider, just a little bit further back, Phil, he's trying to claw his way back to Thomas Voeckler down these big, massive boulevards.
900 metres to the finish of this stage of the Tour de France underneath He's got it, Paul. There's a 10-second gap to 1 kilometre to go. Now for Thomas Voeckler, who has ridden his 7 Tours de France. At last he's going to to get a crack at winning a stage. In 2004, he finished 18th in this race and he wore the yellow jersey for 10 days. He went from a total unknown in the sport to an absolute French cycling hero. He's never gone back to approach a high finish, but today he shakes his head. He is going to have the proudest moment of his career, I guess, since he wore yellow, because he's going to win a stage in the Tour de France. They're not going to catch him now, and what a way to do it. 184 kilometres in the lead for the Frenchman in Perpignan. Look, he does not believe this. He's going to enjoy the moment. Looks over his shoulder. He can cruise now. There's a big race to second place. You can just salute the crowd. It's all yours, Thomas.
Well, that was a great move by him. They all survived the main field and not far behind. They won't catch this man, Thomas Mondra, who gets the first victory that he wanted in a stage of the Tour de France after a long day in the saddle.
Oh, and they're all over the breakaway, right on the line as well.
Well, Cavendish leading the front end of the main field home, but I tell you what, that has been a battle this afternoon. All of the major contenders, though, are in the main field. Lance Armstrong, Fabian Cancellara, Alberto Contador, they're all there, but today it's a French story come true.
Thomas, many congratulations. A very brave move and a brilliant victory.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It was very difficult today because we were a sixth rider front, and we've one who is very fast in the sprint, Vitorovic. And the gap was very close all day long, all stage long. I cannot believe that I could win until the 300 last meters.
Stage 5 in 2004, it was the same stage when you got yellow.
Yeah, that's it.
Happy memories.
Maybe in 5 years I won another stage.
So no change at the top. Cancellara still reclining on that feather-filled cushion of a lead over Lance Armstrong, all 22 hundredths of a second of it, with Alberto Contador third, ahead of Andreas Klurden, Levi Leipheimer, Bradley Wiggins, Aymar Zubeldia and Tony Martin. David Miller remains 10th, and the gaps to the names we're watching all remain the same.